Adolfo. Well, great to see you here.
Thank you.
So great that you came to be with us at the moment.
Oh, no, my pleasure. My pleasure. I wasn't quite expecting that introduction. I'm a little bit like, wow, what do I do now? Very good morning, everyone. Delighted to be here. Really, really good to be here in person after sort of spending like a couple of years doing events in the basement at home. It's actually nice to feel some of the energy back. It's good to see the energy back here, definitely much improved to what we had to experience last year at Mobile World MWC in LA, and then it sort of improved drastically going into Barcelona earlier this year. I'm really hoping that this is now the new normal and it's only going to grow from here. So really, really good. So I have a keynote to talk about innovation and innovation through partnerships. What I like to do, obviously, in innovation and AWS and an industry like telco, there's a lot of theoretical things that we could do, findings, but we're actually going to be just having a chat and looking at innovation through the eyes and the lens of customers, CSPs who are already innovating, who are already doing it, who are doing it all over the world, and that they're going to just show some ideas that hopefully some of you will find stimulating to go and say, actually, is there a conversation here? Is there an angle? Is there something that we could be doing together? And I think the first thing that you will see is that innovation is happening all over the world, right? We sort of tend to pay more attention to our home market, but the reality is it's happening very quickly. It's a frantic pace, and it's happening everywhere. So whether you look at what Dish has gone in the last 14 months, going from 0 to 20% coverage in the United States, literally is just a massive achievement, something unheard of in this industry. Or you see what Telenor has been able to do to very quickly go and create a fully cloud-based core as a service MVNO platform, Vimla, to power off and start delivering services in Sweden. Or you look at Vodacom, who's gone very fast to be the first operator in Africa to offer an AWS Outpost innovation lab where they can bring together their network, their enterprise customers, and hybrid solutions based on AWS Outpost and start offering that for enterprises down in South Africa to start innovating. Or you look here in the United States, Comnet, that is already working, offering AWS cloud services to traditionally underserved regions in the United States and being able to help education, government, mining, and areas that we normally wouldn't get that much attention to. These are the kind of things that happen from one MWC meeting to the next, and it's really happening everywhere. Now, what's driving that innovation? So I've chosen to speak through 4 different trends, right? 4 trends that we believe are driving the need for this innovation, and I'm going to share some use cases, and you're going to hear from some customers say, this is what we're doing about it. So the first one is what we talk from telco to techco. There is a need to grow in the telco industry. The traditional battles for consumers, the traditional battles for communications only or communications mostly offerings in the B2B market have not yielded the growth that this industry needed. And the opportunity is really there, right? If you look at the Gartner numbers, they'll tell you that there is a 5.6 trillion ICT opportunity over the next couple of years. But then when you look at it and you start double clicking, you see there is only 5% of that is going to be networks. So how do we go after the rest? That's the question that most of the telco providers, boards are asking themselves. The opportunity is really there. If you start dissecting, and Bearing Point did an analysis that showed that you've got half of the CSPs who are looking at enterprises to be the main segment of revenue and growth over the next couple of years. But then they went and talked to enterprises and says, hey, who of you would buy these solutions from telcos? Only roughly a quarter. So what happens with the rest? The rest is sort of lost because we have not been able to address it. But then they went and asked another question to the enterprises, and they said, How many of you would buy from a telco if that telco innovated and built some partnerships, some innovative partnerships that they could offer? They could offer like really a lot of innovation out there. And that quota went to half. Now, on a 5.6 trillion market, that quota to half is huge. So you're looking at telcos who have spotted that trend and they say, okay, I want to participate. I want to modernize. I want to improve the way I build innovation. I want to open up to the ecosystems of developers and solution providers. I want to be on the cloud. I want to get that innovation clip just to go much faster. I want to use services that are out there rather than have to reinvent everything with the innovation cost of one. I want to leverage global scale. And we're really seeing that happening all over the world. So some examples, some things that we've learned when you're trying to make this transition. Get this transition, make no mistake, is not easy. It's not trivial, and it's not quick. So what do you need to do to ensure that it succeeds based on our experience? So you look at Swisscom, leadership from the top, all the way in. We're going all the way in into the cloud. We're going all the way in with AWS. We want no distractions. We want to modernize our IT. We want to work with Ericsson and AWS to modernize our network. We're all the way in. Do we have to change the culture, the organization, their leadership, their processes, the way they're looking at the B2B offerings? Top down. You also need to be aggressive, having metrics. We talked about Vodacom earlier. You know, Vodacom said, we got 1,400 applications in IT. We want 1,400 of them migrated, period. No if, not let's evaluate, do it. And it's working. You need to be insurgent because this is difficult. You look at Telia, they're training a big chunk of the company, 10% of the company. I'm not saying their IT department. I'm saying 10% of the company is being trained on cloud. And they are going super aggressive, and they said, okay, let's just go and take advantage of this real quick. In less than a year, they built a serverless analytics platform that we just went into production. Think big. Look at Globe in the Philippines. They said, okay, I need to build a user-centric platform that is able to process terabytes of data in real time about customers. I want to be able to process hundreds of individual attributes for every one of my consumers and build a picture, build a data set, and then infer some AI models so that I can build that sort of customer 360 views. I mean, that's really thinking big. You realize that telcos need a lot more people who need cloud, so you need training. So the program that DT created with us on AWS was what we call the JEDIs program, just developers doing interesting stuff, where we work with their developers and we train them, and we then send them back to be able to work in DT's cloud projects. Or then you can look at removing undifferentiated work, manual work, that could be automated. And I think the CI/CD pipeline, like the ones that Dish is using, is a perfect example that has improved deployment times by 80%. So things are happening. There are CSPs who are really doing it. And then there are CSPs that are going one step farther and really want to go and take a new look at the market. And this is the case that we're doing with South Korea. We're just announcing it now. It's a fantastic innovation around computer vision. And I could tell you a lot of things as to why I'm really excited about this. But I'm going to defer to Tony Ha, the Chief Development Officer, who's just going to come on a video and going to tell us all about it.
Hello, I am Tony Ha, the Chief Development Officer at SK Telecom. SK Telecom has over 10 years of experience in the computer vision business across industries. Together with AWS, SK Telecom is developing a cloud-based computer vision platform that is cost-effective and scalable. SK Telecom and AWS will create robust innovation across various fields, starting from the video surveillance to veterinarian industry. For video surveillance, through the platform, we can detect unusual activities with real-time alerts more precisely. Additionally, for retail customers, It can optimize operational efficiency with AI statistics on customer patterns. We can also apply this to AI animal diagnosis solutions that enables veterinarians to diagnose with improved accuracy. It can precisely identify chest troubles, which is difficult for small veterinary clinics to diagnose without radiology expertise. However, we are only getting started. SK Telecom and AWS are looking for global partners who want to further develop innovation in this area as well as expand it to new use cases. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. This is exactly what we're looking about. Somebody really thinking outside the box, seeing an opportunity to take your assets and combine them with ISVs and combine them with AWS and getting the faster clip on the cloud and innovate into new markets. And if you think about what goes in there, it's obviously their SKT 5G network, and then you've got all of the AWS edge solutions, or what we're doing with Panorama, with Kinesis, what we're doing with our edge platforms on the cloud, and bringing them all together and doing some co-development and opening up to partners and building a great ecosystem. So really, really interesting case where we're really taking advantage of things that are now opening new boundaries like low latency solutions. So that's the excitement. There is money. There is money in the tech-co side of telco. And hopefully some of these examples, you've been encouraged to say, okay, we've got to think and explore. The second trend is 5G a reality? And do you know, I do answer this question very often. What's happening with 5G? Oh God, it's taking too long. But you know what? I think we have got a short-lived memory. 4G took a long time. Remember the LTE transition and then 3G, and a number of these new technologies go through a phase. And initially it's the hype, and then eventually it sort of settles down. Then eventually the use cases pick up and go. It's because you have to get started. You got to farm, refarm, sell, auction the spectrum. You got to get the devices. You got to build the networks. You got to optimize the networks. You got to optimize for jitter, latency. Then you got to get adoption. But we're actually starting to see that when you get telcos offering these solutions that we were talking about and starting to decouple the traditional offerings, and now they're really getting into more enterprise use cases. And we see enterprises who are transforming digitally. The two of them actually marry together. And you can see cases where a very traditional manufacturing plant can easily transform into smart manufacturing and taking advantage of low latency. You can see that in entertainment. You can see that in transportation, where you can do better self-driving, but also looking for features. We've done a number of cases that are public with Jaguar and a number of others where you're actually starting to detect dangerous events on the road and telling in real time the car what's happening. So my prediction is that as these use cases across all of these industries start to take hold, enterprises will really be happy to bring 5G in and will be able to monetize. So there's a whole promise here around low latency. We obviously bring low latency solutions where we embed the cloud into the operators here in the US. We do this with Verizon. We'll do it in Canada with Bell. We do it in Germany and the UK with Vodafone. We do it with KDDI in Japan, etc. So this is a pretty good set of solutions to really allow you to process in real time and have the benefits of the cloud really close to the end user. And again, who's doing stuff like that and why are they doing it? Well, they're doing it because we're now seeing that a couple of years ago, public cloud and 5G didn't really go together. People didn't want to do it. But we've seen that people are doing it, but the number is still small. But what we're going to see over the next few years, it is going to accelerate dramatically. I have witnessed personally in the last couple of years already a significant acceleration of tier one CSPs who want to do that, and that's only going to get better. And let me just give you a very recent example, something we announced just a couple of weeks ago, a little bit far away from here, from New Zealand. Let's just hear and roll a video from Spark.
Spark is New Zealand's largest telecommunications and digital services company. We serve millions of New Zealanders and thousands of New Zealand businesses as a fast-moving and future-focused digital services business. We're seeing rapid acceleration in digitalisation through 5G, edge computing, IoT, and artificial intelligence. Spark invests in digital infrastructure to help our customers realise the innovation opportunities these new technologies will present. Everything we do aligns to our purpose to help all New Zealanders win big in a digital world. From a technology perspective, we support this purpose through resilient technologies that drive value and is world-class in terms of innovation. Our strategic focus is on developing smart automated networks right around New Zealand. We've already launched in 21 locations live on 5G. Developing our standalone 5G capability will unlock the benefits of multi-access edge compute and network slicing. We've successfully run 2 proof of concepts for 5G with AWS and Mavenir, an edge deployment on AWS Snowball Edge that allows Spark to process and store data close to where it is generated, enabling low latency and real-time responsiveness. And a standalone cloud-native core solution on AWS Outpost, the first of its kind in New Zealand. Spark also recently ran our first 5G edge compute pilot for our customer Enviro New Zealand, an AI-powered computer vision pilot on AWS edge computing. This delivered a health and safety hazard detection system that uses AI Detect if people are too close to excavators working in the waste disposal area. AWS has played a key role in our initial 5G use case trials, and we're excited to see where this takes us. Spark also leverages AWS portfolio of products and services across our business to support our own digital transformation. AWS's continuous focus on innovation is an important enabler of the support we provide to New Zealand businesses.
Thank you, Mark. Looking forward to do more like this and excited about the partnership. So quickly moving on, third trend is the arrival of mobile private networks. And I think this is something that in every meeting that I've been to, everybody's talking about it. The reality is that more and more enterprises need reliable network coverage. They need to be able to have that across the business facilities or maybe some operational sites. And that they want to have the benefits that you get inherent, like in 4G and 5G. You want to have the security, the quality of service, you want to have the reliability. But then you have to be able to do that somehow with the old technologies. And I think we have seen that the old technologies like wireline, they really provide a very good answer to it, but it gives you the performance, but it's really not going to give you the flexibility to deploy it. It's expensive to deploy. Then very, very hard to reroute. We've been traditionally relying on corporate Wi-Fi, that by all means, super simple. But if you really want to go and get the coverage, that capacity, the security, it's very difficult. So that is creating a huge opportunity to deploy all the good features and capabilities of 5G networks inside an enterprise. And we believe that's one of the areas that really lends itself to work with the cloud the best. Whether it's a pre-packaged, simple entry product where you can very quickly configure from your AWS console, like what we announced, the P5G, or is working with an operator and do it yourself, building the AWS platform, bringing in the Spectrum, and just building a collaboration. And we expect that to be a very fast and dynamic market, and one that is going to lend itself to strange partnerships. You're going to see some telcos that are using on the core networks a particular vendor, and then they might extend that vendor for the private network core, and you're going to see others that are going to do the core networks with a vendor, the traditional vendor, and then they're going to go and innovate with somebody else for the private network. And it's a big market. It's all of $8 billion, and I think there's a lot of money for a lot of people to work together and go and drive. There's nothing like a good case to highlight the opportunity, and it's smart stadiums. Over here in North America, you guys really like your sports. You really like to have all of these stats. You like to have that presence. You want to have that experience when you're in the stadium as well as when you are at home, or better. So let me just show you what you can do when you bring together 5G, in this case from Rogers, with IoT, with AWS, with Edge, and with some third-party ISVs. Really exciting stuff. Roll the video, please.
We've teamed up with the NHL, MLSE, and AWS to enhance our fans' experience with a deeper look into the play on the ice using Rogers 5G and edge computing technology.
What it does, it takes sensor data off of the ice, off of the players, brings real-time speed where the players are actually on the ice, and gives fans on their mobile device the opportunity to understand all of the analytics of the game. And it's only through foundational technologies that we've implemented through this partnership that allow the fan to get as close to the game.
If you watch hockey like this once, it's going to be difficult to go back.
Not only we're not going to be able to go back, but I'm already excited about what we're going to see and experience when we move forward. It's a really, really exciting space, and one that is really and truly open for everyone. And last but not least, the topic of sustainability. Sustainability is super important. I think it's been super important for a long time. I think if you look at recent geopolitical events and nightmares and some of the issues that we are witnessing firsthand, the whole topic of energy and energy cost is becoming a serious threat to many businesses. I can feel it when I speak, in particular at the moment, with European CEOs who are seeing their energy cost skyrocketing. And we really have to think about this, seriously. We need it because as an industry, we are consuming more than our fair share of energy, but because it's super important. So I would like to put forward a few ideas, right? We are the world's largest purchaser of renewable energy. We're already powering 85% of our operations with renewable energy, and we are well on our way to get to 100% by 2025. But there are a number of things that can be done. So there's been some independent studies that have proven that running your workloads on the cloud is 3.6 times, at least, more efficient than running it in your data center. There is ways where you can use instances that use more energy effective microprocessors and really just be 60% at least more efficiency. You can use some of our learnings and experiences into how do we deploy and be energy efficient as we build this. And then we've got tools like the carbon footprint tool that gives you an ability to see where your consumption is and your profile as you deploy. We believe that a well-architected system over time will look at, and should be looking at, of course, performance, security, and a number of other things, but sustainability has to become there. And we already have it as part of our framework, and we'll be delighted to talk to you about it. But I wanted to hear from a customer that was on this stage in Barcelona when Adam Selipsky announced the partnership. We were going to go and figure out, working with NEC, that's NTT Docomo, working with NEC, the difference and how much more energy efficient we could be using our high performance, energy efficient processors. And they're going to run a like-for-like set of POCs. And today we just announced the results. So let's just hear from Otto, who's going to give us in his video the results.
Hello, I'm Hiroyuki Otto. I have a responsibility of Docomo's core network and operation support system development. At the MWC Barcelona 2022, we have announced a POC to run NEC's 5G core in a hybrid cloud environment that leverages the AWS cloud interconnecting with Docomo's on-premise cloud infrastructure to verify availability and operational feasibility. This was a very fast POC in Japan to deploy 5G on AWS cloud. I am happy to announce here on stage the initial result of the POC. We saw a significant reduction of power consumption of 5G. An average of 70% power consumption reduction is a positive surprise to me. And we see this achievement is due to Graviton 2 with high bandwidth memory and NEC's 5G, and that is designed for multi-core architecture and optimized for ARM with the latest compiler toolset. We are just getting started and look forward to continuing this journey in collaborating with AWS and NEC, and brings the most fast, resilient, and environment-friendly future mobile network service. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Otto-san. It's really inspiring to see how leading companies like NTT Docomo just really buys and try to say, how do I reduce these? And this sort of at least 70% energy consumption reduction is mind-blowing. And I think it's just bring good tidings for us as an industry. So 4 key developments, right? This telco to telco that enables telecommunications to partner with new players like AWS and our partners and on our partner channel and our marketplace to bring that innovation to enterprises and bring the growth into the telecommunication industry. We looked at getting those use cases of 5G really inserted into the very different industry verticals. And then we've been looking at how do you bring and take a very clear use case like mobile private networks everywhere, from sports to academia to airports to campuses to manufacturing. That opportunity is there for the taking. And then while we do this, let's try to be sustainable. So we're delighted to be doing this journey with you. We're truly committed to be partnering with you and delivering this future promise. And look forward to working with you over years to come. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of NWC in Vegas. Thank you.